guys, tonight for dinner, we are doing breakfast for dinner. I'm browning some sausage and some bacon. I'll be sure to have the recipe listed below in the description box, but I am doubling that recipe. My husband, where he works, they love whenever he brings in leftover breakfast. So I'm gonna get this stuff browned up and then I'll meet you over on the counter. I hope I have you at a good angle and I hope it's not too dark over here. So the recipe calls for hash brown patties. I didn't have any of those, but it did give a tip in the recipe that if you wanted to use shredded hash browns, that you needed to thaw them completely and then drain all the water out. So mine are thawed, and then it says just to put it into a towel and wrap that towel up until you get all of the water out of the potatoes. I was shocked. I couldn't believe how much water, and this is only half the bag, was in these potatoes. So once you get your potatoes good and dry, then it's time to put them in the base of your 9x13 pan. And just a reminder, I am doubling this recipe. I have my 9x13 baking dish. I have my dried shredded potatoes. The recipe suggests that you season your potatoes, so I have some Lowry seasoning salt and some pepper. I am adding some onion. Also, this recipe is really versatile. It said that you can add peppers. It's really kind of whatever your family prefers. Next, the 4 pieces of bacon that I cooked up, I went ahead and chopped those. So I'm gonna add those on top of my hash browns and my onions. And then I have my brown sausage that I'm gonna make sure I get spread out all over the top of the hash browns as well. Next, we wanna add cheese on top of the meat. I'm using Colby Jack cheese, but you could use shredded, you could use whatever your preference is or whatever you have on hand if you're trying to use up some cheese. We have our eggs that I have scrambled. Then we're gonna add our seasonings, and we have salt, pepper, and Slap Your Mama seasoning. The Slap Your Mama seasoning is optional. If you don't like heat, then you do not have to put that in there. And then to our eggs and seasoning, we're gonna add milk. All right, so I'm gonna get this mixed up ever so carefully so I don't have a big mess on my hands, which is where I think this is going. The recipe says to add the egg mixture slowly on top of your meat and cheese and hash browns. So we're gonna get this added in. We are going to get this into our preheated oven at 350 degrees for 45 minutes to an hour. You want to bake this uncovered. Whenever you take it out of the oven, you want your eggs to be not jiggly, and you want to let it rest for at least 5 minutes before you cut it. Our breakfast casserole just came out of the oven. Mine cooked 50 minutes until I could get my knife to come out clean. Now, according to the recipe, we let it sit a mandatory 5 minutes. Once our waiting time is done, I'll get this plated up and show you what breakfast for dinner looks like at our house tonight. And here is breakfast for dinner at our house tonight, all plated up. I had a bite of my plate and it was so good. I am so excited about this recipe. I cannot wait to dive in and see all the different ways that I want to change it for the next time I make it. You cannot taste that Slap Your Mama seasoning. It is not hot, but it gives it some really good flavor. So this is what's for dinner at our house tonight. Hey guys, tonight for dinner we are going to have some grilled chicken breast sandwiches. I have 2 chicken breasts that are cut in half to make them about the same amount of length, or about the same Y'all know what I mean. It's been a long day. It's like 7:50. All right, so to make it the same amount of thickness is what I'm trying to say. I'm gonna season up both sides of these with some McCormick's Grill Mates roasted garlic herb. This is the first time I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna put a little bit of zip on my chicken with some Slap Ya Mama. And I'm gonna use a little bit of Lowry's and some pepper. Now that I've got these all seasoned up, I'm going to go out and I'm going to start my grill. All right guys, while the grill is, the charcoal's getting ready, I'm gonna fry up some bacon that will go on top of the chicken breast. Our chicken breasts are done and our bacon's done. Normally I would finish these off out on the grill, but in purposes of filming, I wanted to bring them in the oven. I preheated my oven to 300 degrees. And I'm going to assemble my sandwiches. These smell so good. The only thing I can smell is that Slap Ya Mama seasoning. Creole seasoning would have been really good on here as well. All right, so I've got my chicken breast. I'm gonna add some bacon. Y'all, Abe is eating, and so that's some of the racket you hear in the background. So we got our bacon on there. A lot of times I will put barbecue sauce on these as well. However, this go around, a lot of these are going to go with my husband tomorrow for lunch, and I don't want, I want to give him barbecue sauce on the side so that they will heat up better. All right, and then next we're just gonna add some sliced provolone to the top. I'm gonna get these into the oven, my 300-degree oven, just until the cheese melts. Everything is cooked throughout. These just came out of the oven. The cheese is melted on top. So what I'm gonna do is let these rest just for a little bit, and then I'm gonna get our sandwich made for tonight. Here is dinner tonight at our house. My bacon chicken provolone sandwich, and I'm just gonna have some Doritos. My husband said he's gonna have some cantaloupe and watermelon with his. As I mentioned, I only put mayo on mine, but these are great with barbecue sauce as well. My husband had barbecue sauce. So this is what we're having for dinner tonight.